The U.S. sixth-generation aircraft production program will be the most expensive in world history. According to Defense News, the U.S. Air Force's sixth-generation stealth fighter program could be the most expensive aircraft project program in history, with each experimental sixth-generation aircraft valued at hundreds of millions of dollars. Asked by the Secretary of the Air Force before the Armed Services Committee about the cost of sixth-generation NGAD aircraft, Secretary of the Air Force Frank Kendall did not specify how much an individual aircraft would cost, but said the service was talking about doubling the cost of fifth-generation aircraft to hundreds of millions. These are numbers that will catch your eye, says Kendall. It will be an expensive plane. By comparison, the F-22 costs about $135 million a head, making it the most expensive fighter ever developed by the USAF. Meanwhile, the cost of the F-35A is around $80 million per plane, but that figure could go up. Kendall said NGAD would be highly effective, but must be accompanied by a lower-cost platform to extend its reach in combat, which he envisions as the team's wing mover. The Air Force has no estimate of how much a standalone NGAD sweep will cost. But in a speech at the Air Force Association's March conference in Orlando, Florida, Kendall said the service wanted combat drones at no more than half the cost of their manned counterparts. NGAD, on the back of Kendall's expertise, would dwarf those costs, at least in terms of aircraft prices. Kendall noted that the sixth-generation platform will play a major role in air dominance. So far, Kendall says, the NGAD program is taking the right steps in its development phase to reduce support costs over the long term. This is done using a modular design and government control interface to ensure that the aircraft can easily receive upgrades and maintenance. It will be an expensive plane. The F-22 is an expensive plane. It was one of my planes on one of my previous sites, but it's also a very efficient plane. It has dominated the air for decades now. We hope NGAD will be the same, Kendall said. This need is explained by cost and problems with the F-35, which has been a major cost to the program and will exceed $1.25 trillion over its lifetime. However, Kendall appears optimistic that NGAD can avoid a similar fate, using new practices such as modular designs and common interfaces. Next Generation Air Dominance, NGAD, is a sixth-generation fighter program for the United States Air Force, USAF, with the goal of creating a family system that will eventually replace the Lockheed Martin F-22. These fighter components are the focus of the program and have been referred to as FX or Penetrating Countered Air, PCA. NGAD is expected to put the new fighter into operation in the 2030s. Despite the identical name, the program is different from the U.S. Navy's NGAD program, which has the F/AXX as a fighter component and will have a similar field timeframe. In addition to the broader NGAD fighter aircraft, Kendall also outlined a program that is still developing that will likely power jet aircraft, the Advanced Engine Program. The next-generation engine developed as part of the AETP is a state-of-the-art engine, providing greater range, greater acceleration, and increased cooling capacity. The engine has proven attractive enough that many are interested in installing it on the F-35 before the end of the decade, and the Air Force's 2023 budget request allocates nearly $273 million for the AETP engine. Kendall has been fragile. There are over $6 billion in development costs associated with fully developing this engine and starting production, Kendall said. So we're looking into it. We registered development this year, next upgrade, but we have to compete with our budget for those resources going forward. But it will be a big increase over the current capacity. If you enjoyed content like this, please go ahead and like and subscribe to this video because I appreciate all your support.